Hey guys, today is a pretty exciting day. As you can see, my new F3800 and the extra battery arrived today. We're going to add this to my existing system that's over in the garage and double our storage capacity and double our solar input capabilities. So in this video, I'm going to show you how simple and easy it is to hook this up to your existing home power panel, show you how to hook it up to solar. I'm also going to talk about the advantages of this system versus other systems. And also we're going to talk about the charge controller on these units. A lot of people have their reservations about the low voltage charge controllers because they can only handle 60 volts of input power. But there is something that you should know about that, and we will discuss that in this video as well. So I've been running the F3800 for the last about 6 months, and a couple months ago I added the home power panel to it. And since I have owned the F3800, I have not had a single issue with it. I've never had to go out, unplug it, restart it, and reboot it, do a hard reset, soft reset. I haven't had to do anything like that to it. It has worked flawlessly for the last 6 months, which says a lot because I have 5 other power units that I use daily to power loads in my house. And it seems like every single one of them have had their own issues that I've had to go out and reset them, do a hard reset, soft reset to reboot them. Some of them, once a month, some of them are every week I got to do a reset. The Anker has been the only one that has had 0 issues. And I'm not just saying that, I'm not paid to say that or anything. This is an honest review. It's also been really nice having the home power panel because I don't have to think about it, right? Like if the sun's out, it's making power, it's gonna use the batteries, and I have it set so that it always maintains at least 20%. So if there's a power outage, I at least have some battery to get us through the power outage if it's for a short period of time. But I want to try to recoup as much money as I can out of these by offsetting my electric bill by utilizing the power that these make. So 20% is what I have it landed at. Every day it charges the batteries up, and then at night it drains them all down, and in turn saves me on my electric bill. And not only that, it also gives me the peace of mind that if there is a massive power outage, if the grid goes down, if there's a storm or whatever it be, I will always have a source of power at my house. One of the things I really like about the Anker system is it's very easy to hook up. It's all plug and play. Once you get the smart home panel in, if you don't know anything about electrical, it's still pretty easy to do. But once you get that installed, adding batteries and adding another system to it is pretty simple. It's just a matter of simply plugging in your cord. So obviously this cord here plugs in to the F3800. It just clicks in like that, and then we click it into the extra battery. And then to hook this up to the smart home panel, it's the same thing. You hook the cord up from here right to the power panel, and it automatically does the rest. If I want to add more batteries, I just simply plug another battery into here, stack it on top of here. Now I've just added a significantly large amount of battery reserves. Each one of these extra batteries has the same capacity as the F3800, which the extra batteries is about 1/3 of the size of the F3800, so they pack a lot of juice in a small little package here. So together these 2 units will produce about 7,600 watt hours of power. And if I want to add 3,800 more watt hours, it's just 1 more battery on top. So that's another thing that I love about these units is they do not take up a lot of space for the amount of power that you get out of them. So one of the biggest complaints that I see about the Anker system, and it's really the only complaint that I see, is that they have a low voltage charge controller in these units. They're only rated for 60 volts. Now, a lot of people do not like that and they want to see higher voltage. The standard for portable power units seems to be about 150 volts of PV input, and Anker falls significantly short of that. But I will say with my experience from what I've found, I have other power units that have the high voltage and the low voltage. I have one that has both high and low voltage inputs. And what I've found is that on cloudy days and early morning and in the evening, the lower voltage charge controllers tend to produce a lot better than the high voltage ones do. Now, during the middle of the day, the high voltage one does win over and produce more watts than the low voltage one. But if you average it out throughout the day, and then you factor in the cloudy days versus the sunny days, it ends up being a wash. I say that to say, don't be discouraged by the low voltage input of these units. They still produce very well. one of these F3800s is almost enough to power my entire house, excluding the air conditioner. So that's running the dishwasher, the washing machine, all that stuff. Adding this second one should be what I need to get me through the night. So one of the other things that I really like about this system is they are extremely quiet. I've had an EcoFlow Delta Pro, and this thing is half as loud as that. I've got the Opez generators, I've got a Mango generator, I've got an All Powers and Blue Yeti. This one by far is the quietest of all of them. The other thing that I'd like to mention about this setup with the home power panel is the power panel switches over seamlessly. So you don't even know when it's switching over. Unless you have some really sensitive LED lights, they might flicker a little bit once it switches over, but any appliance or any incandescent bulbs, all that, you won't see a flicker or even have any idea that it switches over. And it'll automatically switch over once the battery gets to the set point that you have it set to. It'll automatically switch back to the grid. Once you are over that set point of stored power, then it'll kick back on. One thing that I wish was different about the Anker system is I have it set so that it shuts off at 20%, so I've always got a 20% reserve. What I'd like to see it do is have it so that you can set it so that it won't pull from the batteries again until the batteries are up to, say, 22% or 25%, so that you don't have it constantly switching back and forth. You'll never know it in the house. I just think that it'll help long-term with the system and help with the longevity of the product. So next we're gonna take you out and we're gonna show you the garage where we have the home power panel and show you how to hook it up and how simple that process is. The one thing that I wouldn't mind seeing Anker do different with these units is if these cords had a 90-degree end on them so that they wouldn't stick out so far, because you can see there's a lot of space here that it'd just be nice to be able to tuck them a little closer together. This one is the new one. We just hooked it up now. It is as simple as just plugging in this cord here to the side of the unit and then making sure that your breaker is turned on the side of the home power panel. The way it works when you have two of them hooked up, if one of the units is producing more power than the other with solar, it'll automatically pull from that unit first so that it will level out the battery. So if this one is at, say, that one's at 53% and this one's at 50%, it's going to draw from that one until it's down to 50%. That one has a little bit better of an array on it, so it produces a little more power. So it's always going to take the load from the one that has the most power. Once it gets down to an even number between the two units, it'll draw from both of them at the same time and keep the battery levels the same. One of the things I'd highly recommend is get some upgraded cables. The cable that it comes with for your solar input is only a 12 gauge cable. They do get a little warm, so I've just upgraded all mine to a 10 gauge cable. I purchased them on Amazon. They're fairly inexpensive. I'll put a link in the description for you. For me, it's just a little extra peace of mind to make sure that nothing's gonna melt down. All right, so this is my wood shed and also my solar array. So as you can see, I have the solar panels up here on top, and they are all screwed down to these boards that run north to south here that are attached to the beams running across. They all have a bead of silicone in all of the cracks to help seal them up so no water gets in, and it'll keep my firewood dry. We're still working on finishing up this project. We just got the panels up today, so we gotta wrap up all the wiring. They're just run temporarily just so we can test everything out, make sure everything's working well. If you wanna know more about this build and see how I did all the panels on the roof and got them watertight, I'll put a link in the description for you so you can go down there and click that, and also put a link at the end of the video so you could see how we did this setup so you can duplicate it. So if you are like me and you want to be more self-sustaining and less dependent on the grid and just be prepared for whatever comes about, hit that subscribe button, follow along to the channel. I like to post different videos every week of different tips, tricks, things that I do around my homestead, and also I like to do product reviews on some good products that I found useful around my homestead. So pound that subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.